Hey folks, it's Frithgar here, how you doing? Welcome back to Farming Simulator 19 here in Boulder Canyon. We are going to keep going with the mowing today. We've got a little bit more to do. We've just finished the fully grown part of the field, and we're now working on the slightly less grown but still mowable part of the field. We're going to finish this one up and then move on to the one up there. We will get all of these bales gathered up. We will just check and see if the price is on the move yet. I very much doubt it. It hasn't been on the move this week. Well, not yet, anyway. 298. So, I mean, we could just go and gather the bales up, sell them direct off the field, because the price is right for that. Anything above 250 is what we say, because that puts it up to above $1,000 per standard bale, which is actually $2,000 for each of our bales, because we have 8,000 litre bales. So, we might actually go and do that. I've got timber that is being gathered up that we're going to want to do a bit of selling with. I'm going to leave this one to carry on for a bit. We're going to go over here and I'll tell you what, we will go and get that load of timber. We've gone and picked up the timber that we felled over there. So I'm going to drive up the hill. I'm going to gather up the timber that is up there. I just want to check actually and just make sure that we've got right on the right hand side at the moment. So we will go charging up this hill straight up here. I mean, this truck is seriously impressive. The fact that it can get up this hill without just getting bogged down a load of wheel spinning and stuff is really really quite impressive. You know, it's not the sort of thing that you would expect. It really isn't. So let me start loading like that. Easy does it. I don't want to overdo it on this. I don't want to be leaving the logs behind in a great big heap. Let's bring that one on up there. There's another one. And there are a few logs that they will load into the truck all right, but for whatever reason they don't seem to want to unload all right. And we do have a little bit of an issue with that at times, I've noticed. When we get down to the yard, you can't unload them. They just won't. They don't seem to want to operate. I don't quite know what's causing it or what it would be. It's something about the logs that the truck won't recognize and take out of the actual vehicle. I mean, it's not caused us very much trouble. It's a little tiny bit. It's more of just a bit of a jolly nuisance than anything else. It's not something that's really held us back at all, but it is still a bit of a nuisance. Get the last few. There's 3 left, isn't there? Yeah. And that one. Right, so we've got our timber up here. Let me just turn off that one and put the straps on, and then we will go back down the same way that we went last time. Down over this way. We do need to go a little bit steady when we're leaving this bit up here because of the way, like, this trailer has rocked from side to side quite a few times. Rather alarmingly, it's got to be said. When we've been traveling around up here. I mean, I am traveling along the side of the hill, so it is sort of a... It's definitely got potential for tipping the lorry on its side. And that's the last thing we want. We really, really, really could do without this thing being flipped over onto its side. So I'll come over this way. Back down. Slow. Slow like that. Bring it in round. Okay. We've gone a little bit further. And it was here also that I think it started to get a little bit unstable, wasn't it? I don't remember now. I mean, he's probably going to be alright. What I'm actually thinking is when we do come along and do a bit there, maybe we could level it a little bit. I'm not sure. I mean, the road out the other end, it seems alright. And if we do go and level it, it means that we've then got to go and reshape the field yet again and do some more work on sort of remaking the field. And I don't really want to have to do that. If we can avoid such a scenario, that would be good. Now, I want to bring you out about there, I think. A little bit further. And start unloading. That's about right. That'll do nicely there. It's stacked up quite high back on this side, but that's mainly because of that log right there that's gone the wrong way. Sort of leaned in the wrong direction when we were unloading it, but yeah, I'm quite happy with that. It seems to have worked. For whatever reason, it doesn't really matter what the reason is that it decided to go and do it. It did it, and it has worked. So we will leave that one there a second. We're going to go back over to you. You've got a minute or two before you finish up in there. So we'll go back to this one, and we'll do a little bit more wrapping. I am going to do a little bit of cleaning up work, I think, around the edges of the field. I am actually thinking I could go and get the other mower, and I could run around with that one, and then we could get the rake going as well, and we could do a bit of work with the rake and rake up those, and then it'll be faster to get through it. If we're running up and down with the mower and the rake, it's definitely going to be faster, and then that tractor is already working up and down the field here, and then it will start working up and down the field down over there as well. So all in all, it will end up sort of being quite a good thing, I should think, if we would go and get the other mower on this one. It just sort of speed things along a little bit for tidying up the field and just getting the last little bits of grass from everywhere. I think that might, well, it'll end up helping us. It'll end up being a beneficial thing. Let's drop that one down there and get the next one. What I am also curious about is if that tractor and baler is going to make it all the way back across the field with its final run. I'm hoping it will. Stop you there. I haven't dropped any of the bales anywhere that we're going to want to be doing some mowing. If I do go... Yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm going to get... I was going to say if. But no, it's not if. I am going to do that. I will bring this one over here. And move this one out of the way, so that when that one starts working up and down that field over there, we don't have any bales that are going to get hung up on it. It's going to be the next thing that we're going to have to deal with. So let's bring you over this side. Over to there. And actually, that road is a little bit steep on the side there, isn't it? We're not going to be wanting to take too much out along that road. Not high loads anyway. I mean, just the normal machinery and stuff like that would probably be alright with, but particularly high loads or anything like that, we're not going to be wanting to take them along this road because it's just going to be a little bit too steep on the side. It's going to end up causing problems, isn't it? Let's take this one here and bring you back in. And I'll stop over there like that. And we're done. Right, now we'll switch over to you. Get that last little bit. Oh, it's literally just switched over to a new bale now. It's not got very much it's gathering up. What I'm going to do... Oh. Okay, there's quite a steep bit right there that it didn't like. It's quite a jump on that bit. I didn't even realise it was doing that. We will have to pay a bit of attention to that when we come back. So there may be some work that we want to do just to tidy things up here a bit. You're going to get to there, and you have now completed your task. Very good. Very excellent. I'm very pleased that you managed to do that. No firing for you today. So I'll bring you over this way. I'm going to manually go around the outside of this field probably twice, I would say. Although, well, I'll see. I'll see how long it takes to get up this hill. That's kind of going to be the clincher on this one, is how long it takes to get up the hill. Because if it takes too long, then I may not bother going back round and doing it again. I may just let the hired help go and do it. Because the hired help is quite capable of doing it. It's not going to cause any great hardships. I mean, 3 miles an hour up the steepest part of the hill. That's not too bad. And yeah, I am thinking that the whole combining thing that people have been saying, that we should be combining down there rather than on the steep land, that's probably not a bad idea. We'll do the combining down there, and we'll keep this one for the grass, because this one mostly will be hired help doing it anyway. I mean, there's a lot of hired help work going to be happening with the combining. We've got the AI vehicle extension that can go and do a load of work on there, so that one will work just fine. Can leave that one doing it. Now, if I just slowly bring that round like that, it should gather up all of the grass. It won't here on this corner, because this is too steep. That's too sharp a turn. So it's not going to gather it all up, but it's also not going to turn properly, is it? Oh, there's the bale. I didn't even see that one had come off. Right. Keep going. And we'll come... We're coming back round again, so we'll just sort of tidy that up a little tiny bit again on the next pass, and it's not going to be that many passes that it's going to leave behind. There is obviously going to be a little bit of a mess left up here because of the fact that we've got that big stone stuck into the middle of the field, because I made the field a little bit wider than I originally intended to, but I'm glad I did, because we've got a nice bit of space up here now. You know, it's a little bit of width on this field. Otherwise, it would have ended up being too thin a strip, I think, and it wouldn't have been right. So I'm quite pleased that we've got it like this. Come out over to the corner over here, and I don't have access to this land. I know that the mower is still going. So, no, actually, I'm sort of thinking that the mower shouldn't still be going now, because I've gone a little bit, like, I've messed up next to the sign. I'll bring it out like this, and then I've gone next to... Is that sign going to knock over? Oh, no, it doesn't. Right, that's one of those. That's an invisible sign. So if I can... Yeah, there we go. I get everything with the baler, and then go in like that. Baler should come out. Let's lift the mower up, shall we? Let's actually lift the mower up, and... There, now I've gathered up the grass that I wanted to gather up. The road sign is going to keep staying right where it is. The baler should follow me, and it should gather up the rest of this grass that is being left behind. Right, okay, we've done it. We have actually managed to progress and keep things a little bit clean and tidy. Just a little bit. May not be perfect. I think what I will do, because I'm going round the edge, I didn't do this previously down there. Is this one? That's another invisible sign. As long as they're invisible signs, that's alright. There is a couple of them, though, that aren't. I think that one down the bottom isn't an invisible sign. I think that one does actually lift out. I know that the ones down by the mill don't lift out. They do lift out. They kind of, like, do all of it. What happened there? It dumped a little bit of grass off to the side. It's another little bit on the field that I've left slightly uneven. I don't mean to leave these things uneven, but it did happen. There's a couple of them here in places. There's like a little tiny bit right there as well. Okay, so I will lift the mower there. And then what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to turn round and I'm going to go back up this side, so that I can just leave the hired help working on the opposite side of the field in a minute. Come up to here. And the other thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to go and get the wrapper. And I'm going to go round the edge of this field, and I'm going to gather up any of these bales that we've left behind. I'm going to wrap them, and as I do so, I'm going to pull them off of the field. I'm going to take them down there so that they're out of the way, or at the very least, move them off of this side of the field. That side over there should be alright. I think there's only one over there. It's just, we can leave the bales right where they are, and for most of the field, but on the edges, if we leave them where they are, then we're going to end up with a little bit of trouble. It's going to end up not being able to... the tractor won't stop. The tractor doesn't stop when it comes up to the bales. It hits the bales, and then if they're right in the middle, the mower goes over it ends up like going over the top of the bale, and then that rides the tractor up on it as well, and then we get hung up and we can't go anywhere. Really want to try and avoid that happening. Is that even baling? Okay, I've seen that happen before. That bit right there, it wasn't leaving the grass behind. It was just gathering it up on the mower as we were going up the hill. And I have seen this before. It's a very strange phenomenon that I've seen in like a couple of places near roads mostly. But I don't really know why it does it. It seems to like just go along and accumulate the grass for a while. It's doing it again. Right, it normally only seems to happen when we're near a road. If you're near a road, then it does seem to do it, and I've no idea why. It was in the Felsbrunn map. When we were doing any work near the road, on the Felsbrunn map, it would do exactly the same thing. It would gather it up in clumps. It wouldn't gather it up in big clumps like that, admittedly. It would gather it up in a much smaller clump, but it would still do it. It would just leave clumps all the way along the edge of the field. on the Felsbrunn time-lapse series. And I was never quite sure why it was doing it, but I mean, this time it only did it going up the hill. It was going up the steep hill that it decided to do that, and then once we got over the top of the steep bit, it then changed its mind and carried on again. So does the mower, like, gather up the grass or something? Is that what it's doing? Is it attempting to gather up the grass? Could be. I've no idea, really. I've never really... So I thought it was just a thing with the roads on Felsbrunn, but I've not seen it occurring anywhere else, but obviously it does occur somewhere else. We've just had it occur. We've just seen the same phenomenon turn up again. And once, okay, that's just a strange thing, but twice it then becomes a phenomenon, and a phenomenon must be studied. So if anybody else has ever seen his whole gathering grass thing, then do let me know. I would be most intrigued to find out what is going on with it. Now, what do I do here, I'm wondering? I'm going to back up, and I'm going to do one more pass on the field right here. Just this one pass right here. Probably going to want more than that, though. There, because of the dip in the ground, that's why the mower started working. I can only assume that it's something to do with how the ground is leveled or something like that. That's got to be what it is that caused all the grass to gather up there into one spot. I can't imagine that it is anything other than that. There doesn't seem to be anything else that could cause such a thing. Run through there like that. Now we get up to this end, and we've got... Right. I will lift the mower. And then I will come through like that. The baler is busy balering, gathering up grass. So then I can come out to this side, and we're going to end up being left with quite a bit of grass behind on this side. Although if I bring that around there... It's only going to be a little bit, though, on this field. Now if I press H, and we will let that one run down across the field. Let's just see what it does first. This is quite steep ground, this is. So is it going to do this strange thing going up the hill as it did just now? Although, that bit over there where it did it is possibly even steeper than this bit over here. So yes, it's definitely steep ground that we're working on, but I don't think it's the main... it's not just steep ground, there's something else in it as well. I don't know what that something is. Right, you can stay there a minute. First one I'm going to go and get is I'm going to get the bale up at the top up here. And bring that one down so he's out of the way. And then we've got a couple more over... Well, there's one down there, down the bottom. Was there one up near the top? I don't know if I left one up there or not. I may not have done, because we're only on 60% at the moment, aren't we? We don't have a full crop on this field. Oh, there's two of them up here. Right. Well, what we'll do instead then is I can... Actually, both of these can just come over here. Like, if I just drop them down here, just slightly back from the stone so that they're not in the way of anything. They should be alright up here. We can just leave them alone. So I'll dump that one there. And then back round, and we will go and get that one. Here comes the tractor and the baler. So I get you like that, and completely obliterate my wrapper, so that it is never able to be used again. And that tractor is using a very wide turn on there. Let's bring you over this way. Out of the way. There. That's out of the way. I also got to remember that that rock does stick underneath the bottom of the field by a fair way. So, even though it sort of looks like it's not far off of allowing the tractor to get past it, there's a lot more space as it goes out into the field a lot further. So the tractor is actually going to go out into the field a little bit more than we would ideally hope for before it sort of decides that, yes, it can go on past the stone without having any issues. There's not a lot that I can do about that. So I'll bring this one down here, this bale here. That one can just stay working, and we'll go and tidy up its mess afterwards. I want to take that bale out, and then I want to unhitch that one, and I can leave it there. We're going to go and get the mower. And we're going to do a little bit of work around the edges over there. I did think, oh, I could get both the mowers on, couldn't I? I could have the front and the side mower. But no, I'm actually using the front mower over on the other track. So that's not going to work out quite so well for me, is it? Let's bring you in here. I'm not going to worry about going and getting a different front weight. Although I am considering, because of how light it makes that front wheel, putting the loader on and just using the front loader as a bit of an aid. But I don't think I will. I don't think I'll bother with that. Right, how am I going to do this? I think I will go this way. We will start like that. And I'll just go around the field like this. Here, like that. Up the steep bit right there. So that I'm on the outside edge of the field. I won't bother going in any further than that. I missed a little bit of grass right there that I do want to actually cut, if I'm going to do this properly. Though I do like the fact that it cuts going backwards. Normal mower does not do a very good job of cutting if you go backwards. I mean, it will cut some, but it doesn't do a particularly great job of it. So I wouldn't recommend trying to do too much mowing going backwards. It usually just works better if you go forwards. I'll come around here like that. It's getting the wheels to straighten out again. When you go round the sharp corner and then you want to sort of straighten up again, it's getting those wheels to straighten back out again with your tractor that is the most difficult part of, usually, with the keyboard steering. It's like it definitely makes it a little bit more tricky than you'd think. But then it's kind of like that in real life as well. You turn sharp with any kind of vehicle, and then you need to straighten up again really quickly. Your hands sort of become a blur on the steering wheel as you're whizzing them round as fast as you can possibly move. Oops. A little bit more there. So there's one little section out on this side, all done. Then we'll go over to the stone, and we will do around that one. So I'm going to bring this one over here. There's a bit of grass right there that I want to get. I want to get all of it. As I'm doing this, I may as well go and get, the bulk of it at least. And then we come back over here. Triangles are my least favourite bit to do. Right, if you've got a square, you just keep taking off of each side of it, and it becomes a long, thin rectangle and finishes up rather beautifully. Triangles, on the other hand, they don't tend to finish off quite so beautifully. It takes a little bit more work and effort to finish off a triangle. It's just because of all the very, very short turns, isn't it? And I mean, yeah, it's sort of part and parcel of farming. You very, very rarely do you have fields that are perfectly square. Certainly not in this country, anyway. You do get some. There are some perfectly square fields, but for the most part, no, your fields are triangular in shape, and you're going to have the short ends. You're always going to have short field ends somewhere. And I mean, it does make life a little bit more interesting when you're in real life and you're doing it, especially if you're doing a bit of a mundane job. But in the game, I actually prefer square fields because the mundane bits, like you're doing it for a job in real life, and so the little short end bits, they kind of make it a bit more interesting. They give you something to sort of do and liven it up a little bit, because quite frankly, cultivating, rolling, anything like that, it gets a little bit tedious. So having those short ends just gives you something to kind of focus on for a bit. Just to kind of break up the boredom a little tiny bit. Whereas in the game, it just makes it take longer. And that's all it really does. It doesn't break up the boredom so much as just end up making it take even longer than it should. So if you're doing a task, if you're doing a task that you actually quite enjoy, and you're not finding the task tedious, then the short runs or otherwise, it doesn't really make much difference. Right? It's all quite enjoyable. But when you're doing a job that you find a bit boring in-game, I always think that doing the short runs or the triangle bits, it just makes it worse, because it just drags out the tedium for that much longer. I'm just going to finish this little strip here, and we'll go and see how our hired help is doing up by that big stone up there. So stop there a second, and we will jump up. So yeah, he did turn around on the last one, which we kind of expected. I'm hoping he's going to go up across here and keep going this time. I did expect it the last time because of where he came up. It's right on the edge of that rock there, so I'm not surprised that it didn't go and finish that bit. But he will go now. He'll go right up to the end of the field, and he should be good to keep going. So what we might do is we might bring the mower up over here and do some work with it. But we'll finish this bit down here first. Go and do the mowing here. I'm not going to do around the rock in the other direction. I'll leave that. And we'll go and get this. It's going to be interesting to see how many bales we get out of all of this grass that gets left behind by our standard way of doing the mowing and baling together. I mean, I really, really like that we can do the mowing and baling like that. We're not having to just sit and nurse the thing through, and we're not having to do it ourselves. We're not having to manually do all of the baling all of the time, because for a series like this, we do need to do a lot of baling. Baling is one of our big income sources. The trees are sort of our major income source. However, they're not permanent. Yeah, once we've sort of made a big dent into the forest, the trees are a one-off big. I mean, yeah, there's a big pile of money involved with the trees. Don't get me wrong. There is a massive, great big stack of cash involved with those trees. But once they're done, they're done. That's it. It's game over for the trees. Then we've got to find something else to go and make some money from. And quite frankly, baling is going to be one of our principal incomes. I mean, yeah, the animals are going to start to take off. We will start to get a nice bit of income from the animals, which is absolutely fantastic, because you know, well, already we're getting a decent bit from the sheep, aren't we? The wool, that's bringing up a bit. And then we're going to be wanting to move towards cows. That's going to be one. I mean, I was thinking that cows would be much later originally, but I mean, I don't now, because grass. You know, if we've got grass, we can do cows. We won't be able to do the cows at 100%, certainly. But if we've got cows, we can do grass. If we've got grass, we can do cows, rather. Because, you know, cows can be 100% grass-fed. Pigs, on the other hand, if we're going to be feeding pigs on the farm, we're going to be needing a lot of grain. So pigs are a little bit different. We are going to need quite a bit of stuff to feed all the pigs and keep them happy. Just bring that up there. I mean, in real life, I don't really know what sort of food mix goes into pigs, because I've never been involved with pig farming. I've kept a couple of pigs myself, but that's very small scale, and that's different. Now, we always fed them kitchen scraps, and so any kitchen scraps went into the pig. And, like, I'm talking about anything. You're not supposed to give them meat. You're not supposed to give them meat, not anymore. So you don't give them any meat product. Even though a pig is an omnivore, if a pig sees a rat running through his pen, he will grab it, munch, and he will relish the rat. But you're not supposed to actually feed pigs meat, because too many people ended up giving the pigs pork. And this can lead to issues. I mean, the main problem that arose was the fact that people were giving mashed up cow to cows. And then they were a bit confused as to why strange new diseases appeared. And so they said, oh, we can't feed the animals to the animals, despite the fact that the pig is an omnivore and can live on a very high meat diet quite happily. And they will do if they can get it. But that's just how it is, so we can't give meat to the pigs. So what we do is, well, what we did with our pigs was we gave them a whole load of kitchen scraps. Now, that was any waste food from any meal, and you pick out the meat and you can give them the rest. And also, when you're preparing your meals, vegetable peelings, anything like that, that all goes into the pig bucket. Basically, anything you think might be good for going into a compost bin, you put it into the pig bucket instead, and you feed it to the pig. The pig then turns that into compost, without the need of you having to go along and stir up a compost bin, and it also conveniently turns it into very, very delicious protein. And the pig is very kind like that. It turns it into the most delicious protein you can think of. The pig turns it into bacon. And the pig is very generous. It's very kind and thoughtful that it makes this bacon for you. That sign... Oh, that sign is also an invisible sign. I thought that one was one of the ones that wasn't an invisible sign. I'm going to bring my mower over here, lower it down. As we're already doing this mowing malarkey, we may as well go round and mow all of it. So I get a little bit here where I'll run along, and I'm going to go right up the side over there as well, and then I will come back through and we'll just gather up the rest of it. Now it should just be a single pass with the rake. I've missed a little tiny bit of grass back there. I will go back and get that. So we've got a quick run up through here. There'll be another pass to go back down through here as well. Oop. Okay, I've missed quite a lot there. That's very bad on my part. But the rake will take care of all of this. We won't have any issues with this. If I keep my mower sort of over this way a little bit, it won't spread that out too far. And then we won't have any problem picking it up. So go like that, and then inch out over to this side. I don't think I'm going to quite get all of that in one pass, so I won't try. I will go like that, and then back up over it there. And then there's that little tiny bit of grass that we left behind that has now been mowed. And then I can go over and get these bits. And then we go back over that side of the field and we get that. All the while, the baler and the mower is still chugging its way up and down that field. It's a little bit slow doing the chugging up and down the field. And it's not got that many bales coming off of it. But we kind of expected that anyway, didn't we? That was definitely something that we were expecting. Take you over there like that. And yeah, this is the bit. I think is that the sign that does actually get catapulted out? I'm going to go over like this. We'll go to that. Well, I'm going to do it like this because it's going to come across that bit. And I'm going to go up here like this. Missed a little bit of grass there. And I'm going to run right down this side. And I've just about run out of time for today's episode. So let's just back that one up there. I'll do one pass up along here, and then we'll go and check on the baler. We can also see if that road sign there, because if it does lift it out, then by the time I come back, it'll have reset it. So does it? That one actually does get lifted out of the ground. It says one sign there, all the way through. We got one sign. That's the one that is now riding on my. I was going to say lawnmower. It's not quite it's a big old lawn. This is. It's a very big lawn. Right. Swing you round this way. There. And you can sort of come in here. There'll be one more pass along all of that bit. Not this bit up here. This bit will be more than a single pass. I'm going to bring him up to there, and I'm going to stop him right there. And I'm going to go over to the baler over here and just see. Seems to be getting on quite nicely. But anyway, like I said, we've run out of time. So if you've enjoyed this episode, then please head down below and give us a like. And if you really enjoyed it, then please tell your friends all about me. Get them to come and watch as well. That would be awesome. And until next time, thank you very much for watching. This is Frithgar. Goodbye, and see you later.